Sukhman, when did you join this campus, Queen Mary campus?
I joined in September 22.
And what was the program?
It was Masters, MA in International Relations for a year.
MA in International Relations, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what all did you study?
I could choose. We had options for modules. So so there were like two were compulsory modules, like contemporary theories, which I think everybody has to know. Right? If you're doing IR, like realism, liberalism, and then we could choose between the rest. So yeah, so I chose war and international security. I really wanted to learn about, how this wars, and because of the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. And then, but my favorite module was migration.
Wow, lovely.
Yeah, it was migration, and because I'm an immigrant. So yeah, that was an interesting module. I really enjoyed it.
It was an interesting module. So you somehow related to it.
I related to it, and everybody talks about the movement from less developed countries or developing countries to UK or Canada, like to more developed countries. But it was more contemporary. Like there's this one very interesting thing we learned in that module, which I really, which was like I did not think about it before. That how now there's this trend where people are moving from developed countries, like there's this movement from UK or Canada to countries like Dubai, UAE, exactly. So yeah, this was an interesting thing. Like rest, like the everything, like push and pull factors, everything, that sort of theory. But yeah, so this was a fascinating point, like which came.
Okay, so you got the academic insights into migration and migration trends, historically and also contemporaneously, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so tell us something about the before and the after of joining Queen Mary.
So are we talking in terms of like
your
what
life,
did I learn?
your life, your perception? You came here as a student, doing her masters. So the before and after of that life, what was it like before? You came from Chandigarh, right?
I came from I've studied in Chandigarh, but I'm from Gurdaspur.
You are from Gurdaspur.
I'm from Gurdaspur.
Okay.
So I was very young when I left Gurdaspur. Like I was in a boarding school, and then I was in Dalhousie for some years. Then I was in Chandigarh for my masters. Then I was in New Delhi for 4 years. I was preparing for some competitive exams. So yeah, and then I came to UK. So I think before and after we were talking about, right? So I think it's just not the university which teaches you here. It's the country. Like when I see myself before and after Queen Mary, it's not everything that this place taught me or my university taught me. It's the overall experience of coming to a new country, and then like it just teaches you, I think, so many things which your host country can never do, no matter what you do. Like I don't know how to put it, but it just makes you, like I feel if I was in India, even if I get a job or I've done my masters, I would not be a stronger or an adult, like doing everything on myself.
Sukhman, tell me something about the challenges, because in any case, the life is not without challenges. So you said that you became self-contained here, but what were the challenges you faced as a student? As an international student,
as an international, especially from, I would say, India, like so I think the challenge is like the moment you land, in UK, it starts, beginning from which tube to take to your accommodation, or like how to, like, you have to manage, like, do you want to spend £100 on a taxi and go to your accommodation, or take Elizabeth line, which is just £10. So I think it starts from there. So, and then you reach your, like, I was lucky enough, I had booked my accommodation, like university, it was a hostel, so I knew where to go. So yeah, so then it just begins from there. But and I would say the biggest challenge is, the first thing is it's the emotional challenge, I feel like, because you are away from home, and it's just this psychological thing that you're in a different country. So, like, you're away from your parents and everything's new, like you're adapting to the whole new culture. And yeah, so I would say that's the first thing.
So adaptation,
like,
understanding the economics, the day-to-day economics of your life here.
And then
because of course you do conversions, because £1 is equivalent to more than 100 rupees back home. So you do conversions, and then you are, of course, then there are emotional challenges as well. That you are, continents apart, continents away from your family. Other than that, now when you had settled in, that, and I quite like the fact that you came here prepared. You did your homework. It's not that you just arrived. And that's my understanding from this conversation so far, that your parents were really supportive. Very, very supportive, And they supported you to complete your education, right?
Exactly.
And if you're going there, go ahead, complete your education. That's the first priority. Do you think this is something that you like to tell this to as students back home in Punjab? Who are aspiring to, come to the UK or the US, Canada, New Zealand, Australia. What would you tell them, especially so far as education is concerned?
So I would really like to say just a line about the supportive parents. I feel to have, it's the biggest fortune in life to have supportive parents. That's the best thing I have. They have been so supportive. So they've never pressured me for anything in life. So they really supported me. I found accommodation and everything. And to the students, I would like to say that, because I know some people, I have friends who just came to UK. They did not have anywhere to go. They stayed with some relatives for a week, or then they were so stressed. It's just not starting new education, but finding a house. And so you should come a little prepared,
do some homework,
do some research. Homework, secure a place to go independently, because I feel it's very difficult to support somebody back home. People blame relatives, right, that they can't keep kids, but it's really difficult
for them
here.
As well.
Exactly, it's difficult because everyone's working here. So do your homework. Don't exactly know what you want to do. Be very clear. This is what I want to do.
Don't expect the son from your relatives or something like that, right?
Yeah, that I think you should not, don't blame them. You should not, because the financial position here in a foreign country, you don't know about it, and everybody's so busy, because I think it's not possible to sustain. In India, it's just one person earning and the whole country is comfortable. But here it's different. Everybody's working, so you should not have any expectations.
And parents should also be supportive. That's very important. And the students should come prepared. And they should be, do you think is really important for students, especially from Punjab, who come here, that they should complete their education? Do you think so?
If you look at them, those kids, it's a whole different story. The challenges I faced, they are entirely different from some like, I believe I'm from a middle class family. I have my parents are educated. They know the importance of it, and like it's a different. But if you interview some other student, he'll have a whole different story.
So there can't be a blanket.
Yeah, exactly.
Statement.
So you can't blame, like, I know students who come here, they do not complete their study, they start working because they have educational loan or they to repay, or they have borrowed from somebody, or the family is expecting money, back. So yeah, they have their own struggles. Like, I can't relate to it, but yeah, I think it's very easy to say that, yeah, you should complete the education. I think that's the most important thing if you're coming to a country, but it's a different situation for different students, I feel.
I agree, completely agree.
Yeah.
So tell me something about international students, because international students are not just the students from South Asia.
Yeah.
They are students from other parts of the world also. There are students from Europe, students from Australia, New Zealand, and the US. So is there a difference between the students from the developing world and difference in terms of their lifestyle? Students from the developing world and students from other parts.
Yeah, so I think London is a place where you have students from everywhere. Like the university that I was studying, like this Queen Mary University, we have students from 70 plus countries. So we have from all around the world. So I would say there's a huge difference between the lifestyle or the struggles which students from a South Asian country face, and which like students from like a US or Canada or European countries face. So I think the first thing is, I would say it's the culture. I think it's the cultural difference between South Asia and London, and it's bigger. It's there's more cultural gap between us, and so that's the first thing we come across as students. Like, so we, there's this, like, I personally had to, there's this culture of small talk in Europe. Like, people like to talk about weather. They like, whenever they meet, like, they're very warm. But I think this doesn't come naturally to Indians or to South Asians. Like, we're a little conserved. So I think we are not perceived as warm or, very, people don't like to talk to us, or there's this one, this is a little difference, I would say. But the bigger difference I feel is that, so I had, when I was living in university, my roommates, my flatmates, they were one from Italy, Greece and Germany. So the difference was that they were getting their monthly allowance from the government. From their home government. From their home government, because because European Union as a whole, they support students going to a foreign country, enhance their skills. So they support their students for higher studies. So yeah, so they did not have to worry about the expenses, or like their rent was paid by their government. They had this monthly allowance, so they did not have to worry about their. So the financial aspect is taken care of by the government. Yeah, but whereas the South Asian students, it's very evident if you go to central London or anywhere. If you go to any restaurant, you'll see a South Asian student working there, doing their part-time job while studying. So they have to maintain, this balance between their monthly, because it's the currency rate. There's so much difference in the exchange rate between London and the South Asian economies, that you cannot expect support from home because it's huge gap. So I think the difference is we have to worry about our sustenance and studies and emotional health, mental health, physical health, but their things are taken care of by their government. So yeah.
And how would you like to conclude this conversation? Anything that you'd like to share in terms of relationships that you develop here, and the relationships you have back home, your family, your friends? So at that personal level, how do you summarize this experience?
So there's this one instance when I was studying, like it's been 6 months. So there was this one study I went like there was this study about Harvard study of happiness. It was about adult development. So this is the longest ever research happened in human history. This started before World War II and it's still ongoing. So what they talked about was that they took two group of people, one Harvard graduates, educated from good families, and one from the underprivileged section of America, where crime rate was high, where people were not educated. So they took two group of white men, because back I think in 1930s, because the studies criticized that why only white men were taken, but I feel back in 30s that was easily available, right? So there was this so they followed their lives for more than 80 years. Lately they included their children and wives and everything. So why I'm talking about this study is that the most interesting thing about the study was that the most important thing in human beings' life is the social relations they have, or they create, or they maintain over their life, the quality of the relationships one has. So the study said that it affects everything in your life, your health, the functioning of your organs inside the body, your longevity, everything. So relationships are the most important thing, like fame, money, it's all. People think this is the most important, but the study said that the quality of relationships was the most important. So the thought, so how I perceived this study as an international student was that I'm leaving everything. Like why one comes to a foreign country to have a better life, right? So to do better or have a quality life. So the thought that came to my mind was that I'm leaving, I think, the best thing, the most important thing in my life back home to have to a foreign country to have a better life. Is it even worth it?
The tide of human emotions. Yeah.
You're leaving your parents. I'm very close to my parents, so this thought comes to my mind every day that I'm missing out on everything. I'm missing out on seeing them.
Understand that.
They're aging, right? So I'm missing that part of my life, and sometimes I think is that more important, or doing well economically in life? So yeah, these thoughts, and it's difficult.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah.
But now that you have completed your masters, and that too from such a prestigious university, and you have met all the challenges that you listed in this conversation with aplomb, and I wish you all the best in your future life.
Thank you.
And I hope that sky's the limit for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It was nice talking to you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.